All right, today we're going to unlock a skill that seriously feels like a secret superpower. We're talking about using Python to automate all those boring, repetitive digital tasks. And the whole point of this? To give you back your most valuable resource, your time.
Seriously, think about it for a second. How much of your day is just digital busy work? Renaming files, copying data from one spreadsheet to another, logging into the same websites over and over and over. It's a total drag, right? Well, that is the exact problem we're going to solve today.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why Python is the perfect sidekick for this. Then, we'll get our hands dirty showing you how to automate your own desktop and then the web. And finally, we'll see how to put the whole thing on autopilot and leave you with a toolkit you can start using right away. Okay, so why Python? What makes this particular programming language the hero of our automation story? Well, it really just boils down to a few key things that make it perfect for the job. First up, Python's code is designed to be incredibly easy to read and write. It almost looks like plain English. This simple syntax means you don't have to be some kind of computer science genius to get started. It's approachable, and that right there is a huge deal. Next is a real game changer: libraries. Think of these like pre-built toolkits of code that handle all the complicated jobs for you. Need to mess with an Excel file or grab info from a website? Yeah, there's a library for that. So you're not starting from scratch. It's kind of like having a whole team of expert programmers who already did the heavy lifting for you. Another huge plus is that Python is cross-platform. What that means is a script you write on your Windows PC is going to work just the same on a Mac or a Linux machine, usually with no changes at all. You write it once and it just runs everywhere. And finally, you are never alone with Python. It has this massive, super active global community. So if you ever get stuck, chances are someone has already asked your exact question online and gotten an answer. There are just tons of examples and help out there for free. All right, enough theory, let's get practical. We're going to kick things off right on your own computer by tackling a problem I think we have all faced: the dreaded, messy downloads folder. So here's the before picture. You've got hundreds of files, PDFs, images, you name it, all just jammed into one folder. And what's the manual solution? Click, drag, drop. Click, drag, drop. It's so tedious and it takes forever. And now for the magic. This little Python script uses two built-in libraries. One is called OS, which lets the script talk to your computer to see files and folders. The other is Shootle, which does the heavy lifting of actually moving those files. The script is basically just saying, hey computer, look at every file. If it ends in PDF, move it to the PDFs folder. If it's a JPEG, move it to images. It's that simple. And here's the result. You run the script, and in literally a split second, your chaotic folder is perfectly organized. A task that could have taken you 10 minutes of mind-numbing work is just done instantly. This is your first taste of that automation superpower. Okay, so we've tidied up our desktop. Now let's take this show on the road. We're going to put the internet to work for us, showing how Python can automate tasks with data from spreadsheets and even entire websites. Here's another classic headache. Imagine you've got dozens of these little CSV files, which are basically simple spreadsheets, each one holding sales data from a different day. Your job is to smush them all together into one master file. Doing that by hand, that's a whole lot of copying and pasting.
But with Python, we can bring out the big guns, a super powerful library called pandas. This script tells the computer to find every single CSV file in that folder, read them all, and then just stack them right on top of each other into one big combined file. And boom, the payoff here is huge. A task that's not only boring, but also super easy to mess up by hand, is now done perfectly in seconds. This is an absolute game changer if you work with any kind of data. Now, when we talk about automating stuff on the web, there are really two different flavors. The first is web scraping, which is all about just grabbing data off a web page. The second, and what we're going to focus on next, is browser automation. This uses tools like Selenium to actually mimic a person, clicking buttons, filling out forms, and logging in. So let's set up our final magic trick. It's the start of your day, and you've got to log into 5 different websites: email, your project manager, a news site. It's the same exact routine every single morning. This script uses that Selenium library we just mentioned. It literally opens up a web browser for you, finds the username and password boxes on the page, types in your info, and hits the login button. It's a robot doing exactly what you would do, but way faster. And the result is just pure efficiency. You run one script, and suddenly all your important websites are open and logged in, ready for you to get to work. No more typing the same passwords over and over again.
So we've built these awesome scripts that save us a ton of time. But what if we didn't even have to click run? Let's take it one step further and put this whole system on autopilot. Using a Python library called schedule, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. First, you define the job, like our file sorting script. Second, you set the time. Tell it to run every morning at 9 a.m. or maybe every hour. And finally, you start a loop that just runs in the background, checking the clock and kicking off the job when it's time. This is true set it and forget it automation.
We've covered a lot of ground today. So let's wrap things up with a quick summary of the key tools we've talked about, giving you a clear starting point for your own automation adventures.
Think of this as your automation cheat sheet. No matter what you're trying to do, there's probably a tool for it. For files and folders, you've got OS and Shootle. For data, pandas is your best friend. To work with the web, you can scrape data with BeautifulSoup or take full control with Selenium. And to make it all happen on a schedule, you've got Schedule. These are the building blocks for pretty much any automation you can dream up. And that really brings us to the final and most important question. See, this isn't just about writing code. It's about what that code gives back to you. If you automate a simple 10-minute task you do every day, you reclaim almost an hour every single week. So what are you going to do with all that extra time? Thanks for joining me.